So it's that time of year again, the Black Friday sales are here. And in fact, Black Friday is not until next Friday, but the internet doesn't care. It's already started all of its sales. And this is by far the best time of year to pick up any of those plugins that you've had on your wish list, because you're probably not going to find them any higher discounted than you are right now. Now in this video, I thought I'd talk through all the plugins that I recommend, the ones that I actually use myself, that I've previously bought or I've bought on a previous Black Friday, or that I'm considering buying in this sale, because there are some amazing discounts to be had right at the moment. So the first one I want to talk about is the Arturia sale, because it is 50% off at the moment, which is an amazing deal, especially on their V Collection 8, which just contains so many amazing synths. Arturia seem to have a great sale on every single year, but last year I picked up Native Instruments Komplete, so I kind of missed out on this one last year, but I kept my eye on it and I knew they were going to be doing something decent this year as well. So this year I actually picked up the V Collection 8. Honestly, there's just enough in there to keep you going for ages, and the deal that they've got on at the moment is just amazing. It's 50% off if you get it from Plugin Boutique, £250 on there, and you get a free plugin. That's why I always recommend buying it from Plugin Boutique, because they often give you free plugins and also virtual cash. So by buying this on there, you'll get a certain amount of money back for buying other plugins a bit later on. So that's why I always recommend getting it from Plugin Boutique. I'll put a link in the description of the video if you want to get hold of this deal. Another plugin that I picked up just recently is Eventide SplitEQ. Now this one is a game changer. It's so great and the reviews have been fantastic. It is basically an EQ that splits between transient and tonal. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check out some of the videos on it, but as an introductory price they've actually got it as half off, which as soon as I tried the trial version, I was like, I instantly bought this. I jumped straight on Plugin Boutique and bought it at this introductory price, because honestly it's one of the most amazing things for mixing, and honestly I absolutely love it. I think it's jumped to the top of my list for my favorite plugins at the moment. The next one falls into the category of just a no-brainer. This is the Sonnox Oxford Inflator, and you would almost have definitely have heard of this. This is in pretty much every producer's toolbox. It is great for getting maximum volume out of something. Honestly, it's like a limiter compressor on steroids. There's so many artists that are behind this, and at the moment the discount on it is crazy. List price £138, it is down to £34. That is incredible, and honestly I use this pretty much on every single project, usually on my drums, sometimes on the vocals, and quite often on the master channel as well, just to get that bit more beef out of the whole mix. Another one of my favorite companies, Baby Audio, they've pretty much got a discount on all of the plugins that they make. My picks for this would be Smooth Operator, which if you're looking for a cheaper version of Soothe 2 that can do almost the same job, I wouldn't say it's quite up to the same quality, but it is still amazing for the price. Smooth Operator is definitely worth picking up. That's 44% off, which is incredible. Also the new one, Taip. This is my favorite saturator at the moment. This goes on my drums every single track now. Such a good plugin on a discount price, 44% off again. Definitely worth picking up. And all of their other ones are also amazing. I've used iHeart NY, which is a brilliant little parallel compressor. Brilliant little plugin. Next up, a company I love working with, Audio Modern. They've just released Playbeat version 3, their drum sequencer. I've done all the tutorial videos for it, and that allowed me to really jump into this plugin and see just how amazing it is. I've got a video coming up on this channel as to how I use Playbeat within my tracks, and honestly it's a really interesting little drum sequencer that really has some amazing uses. That's actually on discount at the moment. Previously it is £59, now it's £49. You're getting £10 off. It's a decent little discount, that one. They've also got discount on a whole load of their sound packs, but another pick that I definitely got from their catalogue is Riffer. Riffer is amazing for coming up with random bass line and lead line ideas. I've done a video of that on my channel, and yeah, I absolutely love that one. 35% off at the moment. Definitely worth trying the trial version, see if you get along with it, but I loved it and I bought it straight away. Also Chordjam is in there as well, 17% off. another great plugin that I use all the time. It's actually in my Ableton template. Next up is the Sub by Iceberg Audio. Now this is one that has provided so many of my bass lines in my tracks and remixes recently. I picked it up on the introductory offer and I wasn't quite sure how much I was going to use it. I just really liked the interface. I thought it was really simple and I thought it was going to be something that I could turn to every now and again when I just wanted a nice sub. But honestly, it's a brilliant plugin and the presets for it are amazing. You can get expansion packs for it as well that allow you to kind of expand all the different sounds within it. There's loads of stuff within it, and honestly, the fact that it is so simple to use just means it's an absolute go-to for me. I like just whacking it on a track and it just does the business. It's already quite a cheap plugin at £45, but at about a third off, 30 quid, it's a really good one to pick up. Again, there's a trial version here if you just want to see what it's like, but honestly, again, it was one of those ones that I just instantly bought. As soon as I started playing around with it, I knew this was going to be one that I was going to use within my tracks. Next up is Sound Toys. Now, I know this is going to be on a lot of your list because they're very popular plugins. For me, I don't actually use many of them. In fact, I think the only one that I actually use is Little Radiator and Radiator. I really love those. Those work quite nicely, but I don't actually own any of these other ones. However, I'm very tempted because you've got 70% off of most of these plugins, which is an amazing amount. So if you want to pick up any of the Sound Toy plugins, definitely recommend checking the sale out. At the moment, they're all individually priced, but you can also buy the whole bundle as well from the Sound Toys website, again at a great discount. So those are some of the smaller, more kind of niche plugins that I use on every single track. I wanted to highlight those first, but let's have a look at some of the big boys, starting with Native Instruments. Now this is a really good time of year to buy any of the Native Instruments gear or plugins or software because they're really highly discounted. And this is when I actually picked up Komplete 13 last year. I actually bought the hard drive version of Komplete 13 because I figured it's a massive suite of plugins and samples and instruments that if I'm on the road, I don't really want to be downloading them from the internet, so having them all on that kind of handy hard drive was going to be a lot easier for me. Now, if you have had your eye on getting Komplete 13, now is probably about the best time to do it because it is highly discounted at the moment, and you've actually got 4 different bundles to pick from, which is exactly the same decision as I had last year. I actually went for the standard Komplete 13. I had a look at Ultimate and the Collector's Edition, but I didn't really want to pay double the price for what else it included. It was more about kind of realistic strings and pianos and things like that, and those kind of stuff weren't going to be necessary for my production. That's why I went for Komplete 13, which I still think is a really good deal. Now, one thing I would suggest is going through to the Komplete 13 buy page because you might be able to get some discount. There is of course the option to buy the full version or update from a previous version of Komplete, but there's also options in there to almost cross-grade from a different version of Komplete or one of the other Native Instruments software or plugins. For example, last year I actually cross-graded from a standalone version of Massive. I bought Massive ages ago, years ago, and I actually got a discounted price from having that bit of software. Now, of course, you can go through these drop downs to see which version actually applies to you, but the easiest way is just simply logging into their website and it will show you the cheapest version, the cheapest upgrade that you'll get based on the products that you've already bought from them, which is by far the easiest way to do it. And at the moment, obviously it's £539. I got it discounted because I had Massive and I bought it for £330. So it's definitely worth logging in to see what kind of price you can get. Now, the full version of Komplete 13 might not be for you, and if I'm really honest, I'm not sure I've made the most of buying Komplete 13. However, there are 2 really good deals that I really wish were on last year. You can now buy Native Instruments plugins from Plugin Boutique, and there's 2 really good bundles on there. The first one is the Komplete Classics Collection. This is priced at £89, and this includes some amazing synths. You got Massive within here, you got Absinthe, you got the classic FM8, and you got Replica. Now, if this bundle had been around when I went to buy Komplete 13, I think I would have bought this instead because this really does include some of their classic synths. Now, I say I already owned Massive, but FM8 and Absinthe, they're really good synths. And that's not the only bundle on there. You've also got the Komplete Future Classics Collection. And this includes some plugins that I didn't actually know about until I actually tried them out within Komplete 13. but Super 8, which is the kind of main one for me, the one that's actually the best out of this whole pack, is brilliant, and I've actually used it in quite a few tracks. Super 8 is amazing, it's great. You've also got Form within there, which is really interesting, a really kind of strange sound design, kind of weird synth, but it has some great uses. TRK01, which is actually a combination of kick and bass, allows you to get the right balance between your kick and your bass. Crazy, but you know, it's one of those interesting things that you wouldn't normally see. That's why it's one of these future classics. And then you've also got 3 effects plugins within there. You got Choral, which is your chorus. You got Flare, which is flanger, and then you also have Phasis, which and you also have Phasis, which is a phaser. Both of those are such great bundles, and in fact, if you don't own anything within that classics collection, then it really is a good deal. £89 for those amazing synths. Now you can also buy all of those synths individually from the Native Instruments website, and again, they're also 50% off, so it's a good time to buy them. For my pick, I would say Massive X is brilliant, and in fact, if you get the cross grade, which I think is from Massive, the original Massive, then yeah, it's a really good deal. Super 8 really surprised me. It's one of those synths I use in a lot of my tracks. Got a lovely warm round sound, love it. Analog Dreams, it's a really great pack with some really inspirational sounds. £22 at the moment. FM8, which is one of the kings of FM synths, that's £64 at the moment. Again, really great. And also Retro Machines. You got some real kind of old analog synthesizers in there that, again, some really great sounds that are quite inspirational. I've also got to say that the Play series of synths are also really great as well. There's just such a big selection here. For me, Hybrid Keys is one that I go to all of the time. Most of the pianos within my tracks are all coming from Hybrid Keys at the moment. I absolutely love it. Cloud Supply is another one that I kind of really like within Komplete. And also Lo-Fi Glow. It's very heavily treated, but there's some really interesting textures within there that kind of sit nicely within your tracks. Also, while you're here, don't forget to pick up 25, which is actually a free instrument from there. It's one that's done to celebrate their 25 years of Native Instruments. So yeah, definitely recommend picking that up while it's free. Right, let's move on to Izotope. Now, I pretty much use every single plugin within the Izotope range, so I'm a big fan of it. And there are some really great deals to be had on Izotope at the moment. One of the big ones which I usually go for, and I've actually got myself, is the Music Production Suite. Now this includes everything. This is the full fat version. This includes the big versions of pretty much everything within the Izotope range, apart from the big version of RX. So within here you have Ozone 9 and also Neutron 3. Both of them the advanced version. Now I like the advanced version because even though the normal standard version of both Ozone and Neutron has all of the stuff within there, there's no difference between that and the advanced version. The advanced version allows you to have all of those individual modules as individual plugins. So rather than having the whole suite, that whole plugin with everything, all of the modules all together, you can actually just take like the EQ from Neutron, for example, and drop it onto a channel, or just have the maximizer from Ozone and put that on the master channel. You've also got their fairly new Neoverb, their reverb, and honestly, trying this out over the past few months, it's actually now my go-to reverb. I actually really love it. It's got some really interesting features. It goes between hall reverb, plate reverb, and then you've also got reflections in there as well. There's a whole load of options in there, but of course their reverb assistant, which is the same as the Ozone assistant and the Neutron assistant, it listens to the signal and then kind of figures out kind of the best reverb based on different parameters that you do. Honestly, it sounds complicated, but it's actually really easy and gives you a great starting point. You've also got Nectar 3 Plus. Now, for years I was using an old version of Nectar and I loved it. I thought it was great, but I never upgraded it. I had the old version, but finally in the new version of Production Suite, I kind of upgraded to this and I got Nectar 3, which is really cool. I really love that. It's got some great modules in there for perfecting your vocals. You also have RX9 standard in there, so it's not the full fat version, but you do have some really great features within there, stuff that can really help improve your audio. So as I say, that is the full fat version of the Izotope plugin suite. I pretty much use all of those plugins within my tracks and I totally recommend them. And at the moment, that's a really good price, £265 for all of those plugins is really good. But my tip is to actually log into the Izotope website if you already own an Izotope product. So it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's just a simple Elements plugin or whether you've got Ozone or an old version or whatever, they will actually give you a discounted upgrade price, which is always the best one that you can get. And that's how most of the time I upgrade my Izotope products. You'll save the most amount of money. However, if you don't own any Izotope products, then there are 3 brand new bundles which offer really good value. They're called the holiday bundles and they come in 3 different editions. The first one is the gold one. Now this one is just £42 and includes some of the basic versions of their products. In that you have the Izotope Elements suite, which is actually cut down versions of their big products. So you have Ozone Elements, Neutron Elements, RX Elements, and Nectar Elements. So all of the big kind of Izotope products, but in a kind of simplified kind of version. And for the most part, these work really quite well, especially if you don't want to get into the nitty gritty of proper mastering. These work actually very well. You also have some interesting little plugins in there like Stutter Edit, Beat Tweaker, Iris 2, which a lot of people talk about it being a great synth. Honestly, I haven't actually even loaded it up yet, but I've still got it installed. Just have never got around to playing around with it, but apparently it's a really great synth and a lot of people talk about it. And you've also got Trash 2 in there, which again is one of those go-tos if you want a real kind of saturated kind of sound. It's almost a legend in the game. So that's the gold edition. The next one up is the platinum edition. This one goes up to £85, and I think honestly this is the best value one. So within this you have Ozone 9 standard. So this is pretty much like the advanced version, only you don't have the individual plugins. It's all in one kind of plugin as separate modules, but you have all of the functionality, which is brilliant. And I use Ozone 9 all the time. When I want to do my own masters, for when I want to play a new track out, I will use Ozone 9 and I love it. You've also got Neutron 3 standard, which again is one of those things that I use on pretty much every single track within my project, definitely the EQ at least. Of course, with the standard version, it's all within the one plugin again, with just as separate modules. But that's actually really great. You can use the track assistant, which is great for kind of finding problems with your individual instruments within your mix. It's got so many great modules in there that it's definitely worth picking up. Added to that, you then have RX Elements, Nectar Elements, Stutter Edit 2, Beat Tweaker, Iris 2, and Trash 2. It makes it a really good deal. There's some really great stuff within there. And I think the winning part of that is the fact that you get Ozone 9 and Neutron 3. Both amazing plugins. Taking it a step further is the Diamond Edition, which again is pretty much builds on the previous pack, except with this one you get Nectar 3 Plus included. So if you want Nectar for your vocals, then you're probably best upgrading to this pack. So apart from Nectar 3, the Diamond Edition is pretty much like the Platinum one, which is why I think Platinum is the best option to go for, unless you want that extra vocal kind of processing. But the Platinum Edition at £85 for Neutron and Ozone, honestly, it's a really good deal. So those are my picks for the best Black Friday deals that are around at the moment. I'm sure there's going to be a few more next week, but to be honest, those are really good deals. And these are all plugins that I use all the time on my tracks and remixes. So I can definitely testify that these plugins are fantastic. I wouldn't mention them otherwise. So definitely pick them up at the moment. You're not going to find them at any better price. However, I definitely recommend getting the trial version of any of these plugins just to see if it works on your system and whether it fits within your workflow. You don't want to buy something that you don't necessarily need, but if you do like it and you do need it and you find it fantastic, then definitely jump on it at the moment, because there are some fantastic deals out there at the moment. I'm going to put a link to all the plugins that I mentioned underneath this video, so you can grab them at the discounted price under there. I can't wait to jump into some of the plugins that I've already picked up. That V Collection looks like a monster, and I'm sure it's going to inspire me on so many new tracks. And that SplitEQ plugin, honestly, changes the game. I absolutely love it. So yeah, definitely keep your eye out. There's loads of great deals out at the moment. Right now, I'm gonna bring it back.